it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know.
I'm right in the middle of another video on Jon Jones.
We're gonna do this thing.
I would hope so.
I would love to, man.
I would hope so.
Respect, man.
And I was just thinking, you know, isn't it amazing how far he's come? Jon said that he would turn domestic violence into the best thing that ever happened to him. And we joked about it. We goofed on him. But look at him now. How much he's grown and evolved. As unfortunate and ugly as that whole event was, it seems it really was the final straw. The impetus for him to make real meaningful changes in his life. Jon, we're really proud of you. But then this story breaks, and all that goes right out the fucking window. Honestly, at this point, I think he likes getting arrested. He just likes hanging out with the cops. But on a positive note, the guy is nothing if not consistent. Let's run through the details. So on the 30th of March, Jerome Romero and Crystal Martinez made a surprise visit to Jones' house to collect a sample of urine on behalf of the UFC's new anti-doping partners, Drug Free Sport International. Crystal Martinez reported that Jones was cooperative at first, but when Jones wasn't able to provide a urine sample, things took a dark turn. When Martinez offered to instead take a blood sample, Jones appeared agitated and was tense and puffed up. He's getting ready to scrap. They're about to be minced meat. He's gonna turn Romero and Martinez into a couple burritos. Then he started asking them if they had money, because he was gonna sue them, at which point he grabbed her phone and started recording them. Police later confirmed they saw the video, and Jones can be heard saying something like, "Here's fucking Jerome and his girlfriend in my garage." At this point, Jones slipped her phone into his pocket, and this is when he allegedly made the famous threat. "Why you fucking people come so early? You know what happens to people who come to my house? They end up dead." Just anybody who comes to his house, he kills. That's why they call him Bones, because that's what you'll find if you dig up his yard. The bones of postmen, door dashers, any missing Mormons in the Albuquerque area. They probably just knocked on the wrong door. One thing's for sure, I wouldn't throw any surprise birthday parties for Jon Jones. He might accidentally shoot one of the guests. So he's talking about murder, and understandably she's terrified. She wants to terminate the test, but she's worried if she does, he might hit her. You know, there's repercussions for athletes who fail to comply with the testing procedure. So she's worried if she terminates the test, he might flip the fuck out. Jones then puts the phone down and agrees to try to give another sample. That's when Martinez grabs her phone and messages her boss. She says she's afraid to call because Jones might attack her if he saw her on the phone. So like she really feels she's capable of anything. He must be acting very erratic. When Jerome returns with the urine sample, Martinez claimed he looked pale and nervous, so who knows what Jones has been saying to him. He probably showed Jerome where he intended to bury them. Anyway, charges of assault and interfering with communications have been brought against Jones. Jones denies it all, of course, claiming there was nothing threatening at all. And he was able to provide seemingly corroborating video evidence on them leaving his property on good terms, even giving him a high five, which Crystal Martinez initiated. A lot of people saw this as evidence that she was lying, but I'm not sure this high five was quite the exonerating piece of evidence Jones thinks it is. It's actually all totally consistent with the manic, shape-shifting behavior Jon Jones has exhibited in the past. The last time I was discussing Jon was when he celebrated his Hall of Fame induction by beating his wife like she was Daniel Cormier.
Starfighter Jon Bones Jones was arrested early this morning in Las Vegas.
She's not admitting to any domestic violence, any physical violence. But I mean, she's bleeding from the nose and mouth. She's down with us while the male is up at the room. And he's actually a professional MMA fighter, Jonathan Jones. And she's like refusing to go back to the room.
When the police arrested him in the street, they described him as being on an emotional roller coaster. So Jon is prone to rapid mood changes when he's blitzed. Let's run through those details. When the police showed up at first, Jon was jovial and joked about fighting all the cops at the same time. Mr. Personality, the jokester, charisma coming out his ears. He continued his one-man comedy routine as they were putting handcuffs on him by pretending to run away. Hilarious, you can just picture it. I mean, he only seemed to realize the whole thing wasn't a joke when they threatened to tase him. after which he became more cooperative. Yeah, I bet he did. Then he became sad and started crying. Oh, his life is falling apart again. Before he went to anger and actually put a dent in a police car with his fucking head. Lastly, he was indignant. He's above all this and threatened to sue the police for arresting him. I hope you've got a good lawyer, because nobody treats Jon Jones like this. A roller coaster of emotion doesn't even do it justice. He's all over the fucking place. So, the idea that Jones could have started and ended this interaction on good terms, but somewhere in the middle he was threatening to end their lives, it's not that hard to imagine. It's certainly in his wheelhouse. And the fact that she initiated the high five, yeah, that's strange. But she was probably ecstatic that one of Jon's more benevolent split personalities had taken over, and she was walking out of there alive. High five for not killing us. Thank you. We live to see another day. Also, the fact that Jones threatened to sue them for just doing their job. Same thing with the cops in Vegas. Having battered his wife black and blue, he was threatening to sue the police for arresting him. So, who knows what happened? It's all alleged at this point. We'll see where it goes, but the details are certainly compatible with his behavior during past transgressions, and I'd be inclined to believe her story. So it just never ends. One article mentioned Jones is no stranger to the long arm of the law. He has faced a few criminal cases in New Mexico, New York, where he's from, and also Nevada, where the UFC star most often fights. So basically, anywhere he lays his head. When Jones rolls into town, the police are probably put in high alert. Oh, for fuck's sake, man. But in all seriousness, the common thread is clearly alcohol.
Okay, what you're gonna do is you're gonna count backwards. Start at the number 47, ending with the number 32.
47, 46, 45, 43, 44, 43. My daughter's dyslexic.
I'm not going to labor the point because I feel like I just labored it the last time. But smashing a Bentley into a telephone pole, the hit and run was terrible. Groping the waitress, DUIs coming out his fucking ass, discharging firearms in public, domestic violence, destroying police property, and now this. It's all him losing control on booze, and sometimes other substances. But booze appears to be the big one for Jon, and it can be a demon. The issue, though, is that the Vegas incident was so terrible, but even worse than the incident itself is that after that, he's continued to drink.
I spoke to mistakes and how when you make mistakes, they change you. Jones obviously doesn't learn from the mistakes.
There's a sense of, if that didn't stop him, what will? I joke about Jon having bodies buried, but it honestly seems like Jon isn't going to give up the booze until he gets behind the wheel drunk and it actually does cost someone their life. And if something like that happens, there'll be no pity for Jones. He'll be beyond redeeming. He won't be a sympathetic figure. He'll be reviled, because it will all have been so predictable and tragically avoidable.
Let me start the test.